Well, now we're in the village of Buxhall, and this is the church. Beautiful little church set in a lovely setting. It's the Church of St Mary. We've got a long gravel path running up to the church, and at the side of the path are quite a few, well, considerable amount of fairly new headstones. So we'll actually go through the gate and have a walk up and see what this church is like. So this is unusual in as much that there are a lot of fairly recent headstones as you enter the churchyard. You don't see this too much in Suffolk. A lot of them. Get a good view here of some of the crosses and beautiful headstones. Some of them are older, and like this one here, we've got a cross that's lying down. Whether that's been knocked down over the years, I think it has. It was standing on a plinth at the end, actually, originally. And it looks as if the churchyard goes. Yes, it does. The churchyard wall runs down at an angle here, so that the churchyard's getting smaller actually, but there are a lot of old headstones, graves here. That's quite a large church. And the main building has all been rendered. That's not uncommon, but it's not that common, as it were. If that makes sense in Suffolk. So most of the churches are left as flint. Now the reasons for rendering them, I think, are obviously just as a way of protecting the joints that have weathered over the years. But I also think that perhaps it gives the appearance of a larger, grander church. So if we come into this corner of the church, we find a lot of older headstones in all different states of repair. And this area here was obviously here, but I wonder if some of these have been moved to this position. There's a steam engine there in the field next to the church. This is a more sheltered area here. See if we can get some shelter from the wind. And have a look here at the church. Gives us a better view. It's a lot of that large tower actually, with 4 big buttresses. It's quite grand. And the rendering gives a feel of a very large church. Tall windows. But we can't go round the church at this end, so the altar will be overlooking the adjacent field. Little crosses and memorials, possibly, I guess they are, in the church wall, or they're there for decoration. I don't know which. It's a lovely, lovely setting here. You come round here, little gate here that goes into this field. Oh, it goes around, I'm not too sure what this is. This is somebody's garden or the garden to the church, I'm not certain. I'm not too sure whether that belongs to the church or not. It is lovely. come down here to the tower end, we're right next to a field of sheep. Beautiful sight. Very windy here. And this is the church tower, which is really large. It's got a window in at the end. Lovely flint detailing at the end of the buttress. The tower there that we can see, it's a massive tower, lovely. Let's have a look over here. The other side of the church seems to be fenced off, and I'm not certain whether we are actually allowed to go around there, so we'll leave that, but we'll have a look inside. But before we go, we have a look at this tower. It's a really large tower and a big window there. So I think we'll have a look inside. So we've got this very large porch here and a screen door which we'll look at and see if we can go inside. Well, this is a very big porch. It's got two windows. And a well kept, beautiful wood ceiling. Let's have a look inside this church. Wow, this is a big church. And the first impression you get is of just a massive space. It's very light in here because the windows are mainly, I think they're all plain glass. From this angle, got a font here right in the middle of the church here. Seems quite small actually by comparison to where it's situated. And there's that big window that's in the tower. You can see that it's all large windows, plain glass. Bit of a community area here where they've chairs, books, cupboards, all fairly modern stuff here has been added. Well, that screen is all very new. All the walls are very plain. Well, if we stand here with our back to the tower and look down, we can see how light and airy this church is and actually how large it is. The ceiling is lovely, it's in beautiful condition. It's got a radiator, so presumably there's central heating in here. The interior of this church looks much newer than the original building would have been, I suspect. I guess this church is either a very old church that's been enlarged, or it's not so old. all of this, where the pews are, looks fairly Victorian. Certainly airy and large. Just go up here and have a look. It's a good view of the church here. There are no stained glass windows, apart from some stained glass in the top of these ones. That's why the church is so light. Most of the fittings in this church seem quite modern. I mean, even the organ is fairly modern. If you look at the top of that, it's quite Art Deco, really. Fits in there very well there with the window. I guess it was designed like that. It's lovely. Looks like an angel, which I suppose is what it's supposed to be. This is a large extension. Got memorials on the walls here. And some stained glass up there in that window. I'm guessing that maybe there was stained glass at some time, which was either destroyed or something, been replaced with the plane. But I don't know for certain. That's a lovely window. Beautiful. Looks as if it's well used, this church. Get a good view here down the aisle to the tower. That is a large window in the tower there. So it's a very grand church. Certainly not a typical Suffolk country church by any means. Right. Well, that's the Church of St. Mary in Buxhall. A very large church for Suffolk village, and very plain inside really, considering that it's possibly used by a lot of people, but it's not painted and there's no stained glass windows really. Not the most exciting of churches, I have to be honest, but certainly a church that you wouldn't mind using or getting married in or christened in or just worshipping in, I guess.